Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:30 on Saturday the 27th of March. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, never quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's a cold morning this morning. We had some huge winds overnight last night, and it's been raining. Just literally stopped in the last 5-10 minutes. Sun is trying to make an appearance over the top of the trees today, but if you can see the sky there, it is still black. So I think today and tomorrow is going to be a bit cold, wet and windy. Anyway, we'll try and not let that disrupt the things we need to get done this weekend. Lots of small jobs. I see we've got another little some kind of bird attack there on the field. Yeah, lots of smaller kind of jobs today. If it does rain, I'm not too worried. There's stuff that I can be doing inside, but as always, I'll keep you up to date as we go through the day. Well, good morning. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are. It's a cold morning this morning. I've just been opening up and sorting out the Polytunnel, ready for the day. It is a cold and wet and windy day. I was a bit worried during the week. I'd got the chicken coop and pen built. The majority of the construction was finished off last weekend, as you'll know. And I was looking at the forecast for these real strong winds, which we've still got. I can hear it creaking on the roof. And somebody actually mentioned it in the comment section on one of the recent videos about wind and the pen to the coop, because the sides are chicken wire and they're open, and the roof is a solid roof. There's a potential there for the wind to come in and try and lift the roof of the pen area, because it is only sitting on a breeze block foundation. And they're absolutely right. I'd ordered some metal spikes, the ones that you've seen me use before on the cabin and the garden room extension build. I've used them a lot as a ground anchor for the actual framework of the buildings, and I didn't have any for the chicken pen when I was doing the construction. The place I normally order them from was completely out of stock, but luckily I was able to find some alternatives. They're actually much more robust. The ones I used before were, I think, 10mm in diameter, the actual stake that goes in the ground. These are over 20mm, they're probably close to 25mm, so really thick. And it's been playing on my mind all week, so during the week, having seen the forecast for this weekend to be strong winds, I thought I'd call in on the way home from work and just get that job out the way before the weekend. And I'm really pleased I did, because yesterday when I was at work I was watching the wind, and today I've come down massive winds overnight. I actually did wake up during the night, so I'm really pleased I came in from work during the week and got that job done and got the pen for the chicken coop firmly anchored down. I did take a couple of very brief clips, and I'll stick those in now so you can see what I got up to just the other day. Well, just called in after work. We're forecast for some strong winds this weekend, and I'm a bit worried about the pen to the chicken coop. So I've got these long, they're almost the length of the cabin, these long stakes which I'm going to drive into the ground to anchor down the chicken coop. And I'd rather get it done now before the weekend, when potentially we're going to have some really strong winds, and I will be a little bit worried about the pen taking off in that wind. So we'll get these staked down, and then no doubt I'll catch up with you at the weekend to let you know what I've been up to. Well, that was hard going, but that's one in, two to go. Well, that's a good job done. I've got stakes on all three sides now, and these will definitely stop it moving from side to side or up and down. I wanted to get this done straight away because we are forecast for heavy winds, and because this is open-sided with a solid roof, there's a temptation for the wind to come through and try and lift this off its foundation blocks. So fingers crossed, those are even bigger, more heavy duty stakes than the ones I used on the original cabin construction. These are 20mm rather than 10mm in diameter, and they've got these nice braces as well, so really solid. This shouldn't go anywhere now in the wind, so good job done, very pleased. So that was during the week and I am really pleased that I got that done. The winds this morning have died down a little bit from the night, but that was an accident just waiting to happen. So good job done there. In terms of what is planned for today, a little bit more on the chicken pen itself. I need to get that second water barrel moved out and put into place. There's the guttering to go on the roof, so that can continuously fill up the water supply for the chickens. I want to get some more planting done today. I'll give you a run round shortly at what progress we've got with the seedlings that have gone in already. Bear in mind it is still March and this has been an experiment, and whilst it's not been a roaring success in that I've not got lots and lots and lots of plants ready to go out into the raised beds, it still has been a success because I have got a head start. We're still in March, and as you'll know, I've got quite a few seedlings through already, and during the week as you'll see shortly, there's been a few more. So I do want to get some more planting. I have got a load more seeds. There is a cheap shop if you're in the UK, Wilko's supermarket. They've got lots of seeds still in stock, and there is some really good pricing. They're on the bench over there, I might run through those with you when we do the run round of the plants, and you can see what I've been buying. So yeah, I do want to get some more seeds into pots. I'll probably transfer the ones, or the bigger ones that have come through now, into the polytunnel. That polytunnel does need sorting out. It's a complete disaster zone. I've got lots of planting in there. I've got all those pallet collars to make raised beds in there. There's paint, there's all manner of stuff laid around in there. So that might be a job for today as well. So there's lots of stuff to do, and I can do a lot of it indoors, out of the weather. And we'll just see as the day goes by how the weather improves. It will be nice to get that guttering up. But as always, I make it up as I go along. In terms of what's happening in the news around the world, it's pretty much more of the same with the COVID. Here in the UK, we've got 30 million now vaccinated out of a population of, I don't know, around about 70. All of the old and vulnerable people have now had the opportunity to get their vaccinations. Quite a few people, there's at least a couple of million, have had the second vaccinations. Bit of a trade war going on around vaccinations with mainland Europe, who weren't quite as quick off the mark as we were here in the UK. But in all honesty, I'm just trying to forget COVID. Economy and supply chain. Economy is what it is. It's a basket case, not just here in the UK, but everywhere, pretty much around the world. I see the US have just signed off another 3 trillion with a T stimulus package. We've still got our stimulus packages running through to September. So the money printing continues around the world, and all of this money printing, all of these big numbers that you hear governments announcing that they're giving away, it's fake money, people. It's just been magicked out of thin air. And what that means is that the pound or the dollar or the yen or the ruble or whatever currency it is that you have in your pocket, every time they turn on the printing presses or click the computer keyboard to produce these billions and trillions of extra cash, that's in effect just watering down the value of what's in your pocket right now. It's just magicked out of thin air. So when we talk about the economy and we talk about prices going up, it's a fact, and this money printing is just making the situation worse. So as we go through this year and into next year, irrespective of the pain of taxes that are going to come and service cuts that are going to come, you will find prices going up anyway, because the value of your money has been depreciated, it's been watered down. So to combat that, companies that are manufacturing by default will increase their prices to compensate for that watering down effect. Add to that issues in the supply chain from historic, sort of last year and the year before, poor harvests, poor planting, rubbish weather for growing, and that will just exacerbate the problem and increase prices again as these shortages in supply kick in. Talking about shortages in supply, big news, certainly in the UK. I don't know if you've seen it elsewhere, I'm sure you will have, because it is quite newsworthy. shipping routes. The Suez Canal in Egypt has been blocked by a super cargo container vessel that's run aground. It's been there for a few days now. Traffic is queuing up. Lots of companies around the world trying to decide what do they do with their ships. Do they send them all the way around the bottom of Africa and add a couple of 3 weeks to their journey time, or do they sit and wait and hope that ship's going to be cleared in the next few days and weeks? Big dilemma for shipping companies as to what to do for that. I don't anticipate it's going to be a huge knock-on effect. If people tell you it's going to affect food prices, don't buy that. These container vessels aren't carrying fresh produce, not at all. It's more manufactured goods, spare parts, and I guess more importantly for Europe, it's carrying oil and gas. So you might see some disruption and price increase in the oil and gas commodity market, but companies will never miss an opportunity to take advantage of a crisis. So already the oil price has gone up. It was already going up because America now has stopped being an exporter and has gone back to being an importer again of oil. So yeah, you're probably going to find petrol prices at the filling stations are going to gradually tick up, and they'll use this Suez thing as just another excuse as to why they've been forced to put the prices up. So there is a bit going on in the news, but I think really the long-term picture is what you need to be looking at, not these short-term things like that ship stuck in the Suez Canal. I still maintain that the economy is the big thing this year and into next year. If you're renting houses, get ready because the prices are going to go up, I guarantee that. As more and more people lose their homes, the supply or the demand on the supply for rented accommodation is definitely going to go up. And again, companies and business people never miss a chance, so they will by default put rental prices up. So lots going on, but more geared towards the longer term rather than the here and now. Anyway, how are you doing? Are you planting? A few people commented in videos to say that they were. Had a few pictures of plantings. If you're not, please do give it a go. There's nothing better than producing your own fresh food. Talking about which, we have a Easter weekend next weekend, so I'll actually get an extra couple of days off work. So watch this space, because next weekend is the target date for chickens to start arriving. So I'd better get myself going and get on with that coop and pen, so that I am fully prepared for next weekend when the chickens turn up. Not had any comments really from you about chickens as to what kind you have or what kind you think I should be getting. I think I mentioned it last week. I have a few ideas floating around as to what kind. So if you have got any ideas or any more comments, tips, suggestions for the chicken coop and the chicken pen, do stick those in the comment section. But for now, I'm going to get this coffee down me before it goes completely cold. And I'll keep you can't even say the words. I'll keep you posted with progress as we go through the day. Well, we'll start off the little tour of the plantings inside the Polytunnel. I'm leaving that door closed because the wind is a bit too strong for it. You've seen all this before. Strawberries coming on real well, blueberry bush coming on real well, including the young one, which has now got quite a few leaves on it. Fig is in leaf. If you can see that or not. It's going to focus. Yeah, you can. So we've got leaves on those. The fruit tree's doing really well. Some really nice leaves on these fruit trees, on all of them to be fair. Even the one that I thought might not survive has got plenty of leaf on it. Pear trees going absolutely crazy. The Swedes seedlings, very nice. They're not far off being ready for planting out into the raised beds. I will keep them in here for a little bit longer though, because it is only the end of March and we're going to get lots of frost, I think, between now and the end of April. A little bit of an experiment here going on. I've got some lavender which I'm going to take some cuttings off and see if I can get lots of those plants. Plenty of seed trays and pots to go at. I've got these ready. I watered them earlier, so they're ready for putting seeds in. Still plenty of buckets to go at. So that's the polytunnel. I just fight my way out of here and we'll pop around into the garden room. I just keep that closed for now, otherwise I'll be in bother. You'll know potatoes have gone in there, and in this one. This bed's ready for planting out. Garlic and onion bed. Too early to get those onions coming through yet, but the garlic's doing real well, including this latest batch that went in back end of the year. It is freezing out here. I've got my water barrels ready to connect up for the watering system for the chickens. Guttering is in the coop when I eventually brave the elements out here. So, garden room, what have we got? You kind of know already what we've got. Potatoes all doing very well. All of these now are through. And some really nice growth on some of them. I mean, these ones that were put in February, they're really nice. And that one also. That's 2 new buckets of carrots. You saw that the other week. The original carrots from February and January, they're now coming through. You can see them here. And the same on this one. We've got them coming through as well. Still only that solitary one in this bucket from 16th of January, and still not at all in that one. I'll give it another week, and if nothing happens I'll reseed them. The covered bed, marigolds doing very well. True potato seeds, now we've got a few more. So we've got one. There's actually 3 in that little cell, and then 2 more over there. So I've got 6 of those come through, which is a real bonus because they've not been in that long. The others, disappointing. The peas, I did have one, which is that one, but that to me looks like it's dying off. Not quite sure why that is. Cabbage, 3 in there. Oh, there's actually another one there. There's 4. Tiny one there just coming through now. And then finally the cauliflower. 3 plus that new one there. So there's 4 in there. And we'll just monitor those over the next few weeks and see what happens. As the seedlings get bigger, I'll transplant them out into probably other pots because it's still a bit early for the raised beds. And I'll just monitor the rest and see what happens. It might be that they're late in germinating, it might be that they're not going to germinate at all and we'll need to reseed. But that's the what we've got planted. In terms of new stuff, I don't know where I'm going. We're over here. Let me grab the tripod and then you can see what I've got there in terms of new seeds. So I've got a few more seed trays there and some smaller pots. I must have millions of these by now, but I can't resist just picking a few extra ones up as I go along. There's my original seed box there that I've been using to plant. Some interesting stuff here. I'll separate these out a little bit. Got some really good pricing. I've got some carrots here at 50p a packet, so I couldn't resist topping up on those. I have a feeling that these are the ones they're called Nantes. I have a feeling that these are the ones I planted last year and had real good success with those, so there'll definitely be some of those going in. I said I wasn't going to do broccoli. I couldn't help myself. This is a different variety to the one that I got in the beds last year. I had purple in there last year, you remember. This is just the normal green broccoli. So I might be tempted to try some of those, even though I said I wouldn't. Cauliflower, again, 50p a packet. You can't knock that. Really cheap. So I have got some in already. I'll definitely put in some more of these in. I've got another packet of peas. I have already got some in that original tub, but I just, again, couldn't resist picking some more up. And then finally, something a little bit different. I've got a selection here of different wild flowers. You'll know that there is an ambition for me to get some bees later this year, but whether I do or I don't doesn't really matter. What I want to try and do along that wooded area, I have been putting grass cuttings over a year ago now to try and put a bit more decent soil into the base of the trees, because it was just it's an old railway line, so the soil isn't very good. So I've been putting that over there to try and get a little bit of decent soil going. So I'm going to throw a load of these wildflower seeds. There's different varieties. That's a mixture of different types of flower. And then I've got a couple of packets of cornflowers. So I'm going to try and get a little bit more interest and variation growing along that wooded area. And I might pop some of these in the field as well. We'll see how we get on. But I just want to get a bit more variety, really. The field is the field. There's not a great deal going on there in terms of flowers, apart from dandelions, which I'm sure you'll see later this year. There'll be millions of those again. So it's just a bit of variety, really, for the wildlife, and particularly if I do get bees, these will provide a little bit more variety of food for the bees. So lots of different seeds there. I would really encourage everybody to just start stocking up on seeds. You never know when there might be a shortage of them, and it might encourage you to start growing your own if you haven't already. Even if you do, as I do, just pop carrots in buckets or potatoes in buckets. They are yours, you're growing them yourself, you know that they're going to be decent quality, and it is very satisfying to be able to see your seeds coming along, grow into little plants, and then reap the benefits when you harvest them and ultimately eat them. So that's what I've been doing in terms of seeds. I've been stocking up, and again, something a little bit different for this year in terms of these different wildflowers. Just got a few bits and pieces out on the bench. Ignore the potatoes. They're going to get planted out at some point today. Got my hole saws out ready and some connecting pipe. And the idea for these really is the water barrels that I'm going to use for the chickens' drinking water system. I'll cut another hole into the second barrel just so that I can get access down. Pop a couple of these connectors, one on each barrel, and then I'll connect them both together with this length of plastic hose. And then as the water comes off the roof and feeds into the rainwater collection barrel at the same time, because they're jointed together, it'll fill both barrels, as it does on my other watering systems on the garden room and the cabin itself. So a bit of work to be done there, a bit of hole cutting, a bit of connecting. I'm going to get cold and wet. But I guess once I've cut the holes, and I've got to figure out where the barrel's going to go before I start messing about connecting up. And of course I still need to get the guttering on there. Well, I'm out on the chicken coop. It's a real breezy cold day. Just test assembled the guttering, and a single length of guttering is just slightly short. It's probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches short to do the entire span of the roof, because the sheeting is overhanging a good couple of inches on this side especially, and another almost a couple of inches at this side. But rather than trying to joint this for the sake of a couple of inches, I think I'll just use that single length of guttering, and it'll certainly come to the edge of the pen at both sides. It's just not going to catch this last little run of that corrugated section there, and the same again on this side. It's not going to catch this end run here, but it'll certainly cover the span of the wooden frame. So that's test assembled. All I need to do now is dismantle these hangers and get them screwed onto the side of the coop, or the end of the coop. Well, that's actually shorter than I thought it was going to be. It's turned out to be about 3 inches on each end, rather than just an inch or two. So I'm going to get a jointing section and extend it all the way out. It would bug me if I left it like that. This wind is picking up, and it looks like it's going to chuck it down with rain as well, so I really need to get moving if I'm going to get this done. I have the guttering, I just don't have the jointing section, so I'm going to have to go and get one of those. Well, I've been into the shop, and I've just got this jointing section. So this and a little piece of guttering that I've already got an offcut, that'll just extend out and give us that extra cover that I need. So I'll get that installed now, and we'll see how it looks. Well, that's the guttering in, and now it does reach all the way to the end at both sides. So downpipes in place. All I need to do now, cut a hole in this outside barrel for the downpipe to go into, and then a couple of holes in each of the barrels, get that link to connect them together, and we'll be good to go. Sounds easy, but it's taking forever, and it didn't help that I had to disappear off for best part of 45 minutes to get that that gutter joiner, this piece. But we're coming along, it's progress, and as always, any progress is good progress. It's looking good. Well, that took a bit of doing. Well, that's the watering system in. Guttering's up. Got the 2 barrels connected. Outside one's in the downpipe. So we're good to go. I'm tempted to put some water in, but it's a lot of water. I think I might just wait and see if it rains. Chicken coop's attracted a bit of attention, look. I've got 2 wild ducks here, male and female. They've been hanging around here for the last half an hour. Maybe they like the look of the chicken coop and they want to move in. Or maybe not. I actually had to put another block under that chicken waterer just to stabilise it a little bit. But all we need now is some rain to fill it all up. Lots of things to do in here in terms of giving the chickens something to climb on and a bit of shelter. I am tempted to run another length of that feather edge board across just to give a bit more shelter, because now the wind's up today, you can actually feel how it blows through the coop or through the pen. So it would be nice at some point to get some more of those boards just across the bottom. I don't know, give it maybe another, definitely 1, maybe 2, and that would just give them enough shelter from the wind while they're outside. Lots and lots and lots of things on my mind. But right now the watering system's in and we'll get cracking with some other little jobs. Time's flying by. It's lunchtime already. I don't know where the day's going to. I know I lost a bit when I was popping into the shop to get that piece of guttering, but it just flies by. Well, I just couldn't resist. The sun has made an appearance, so I figure if I get some more support struts in, I can get some more feather edge boards along the bottom of this the framework of the pen, and just give a little bit of shelter for when the chickens are out here during the day. So as always, there's one more job that I wasn't planning on doing, but I'm ending up doing. I'll keep you posted as I go along. Well, there we go. That's a bit more feather edge run around the outside of the pen. Just want to give them a bit of shelter when they're in there from the wind, because we do get quite a bit of wind on this field, as you know. I've cut round where the rainwater harvesting pipe connects in and all the way down this side, so you know what's needed now, don't you? Yep, paintbrush has got to come out. Ah dear, it's progress though, that's what counts. Well, there we go. That's all of the extra feather edging and painted, and it's looking very nice. It's nice to see the water barrels there, all connected up, ready to go. Just need a bit of rain, and looking at the sky, it's not far off coming. I can feel it spitting. So that should just give them a nice bit of shelter inside the pen when it's a day like this and the wind's blowing across the field. They'll be able to just get snuggled up there. It's a good, what's that? I don't know, it's foot and a bit, foot and a half. I'm not quite sure, but it's enough for a chicken. So, time as usual is flying by. It's nearly 2 o'clock already, and I haven't even looked at my planting. So I'll get myself in. I've not even had a coffee, so I'll grab a coffee and we'll see what we're going to get done in the garden room in the polytunnel with some planting. I've just got the kettle on to boil, so while I'm waiting for that, I'll just give these Swedes a quick watering. Make sure that they're alright. I'll be down tomorrow anyway, but having gone to all the time and trouble and effort, I'd hate for it to go wrong now. Don't know if you can hear it in the roof of the polytunnel, but that wind is really picking up. It's only a matter of time, I think, before this storm comes through again. So hopefully I'll get everything done before that happens. Anyway, I'll keep watering these, and by the time I've done this, coffee should be on. And we'll have a look at what seeds, extra seeds we can get put in today. Oh, well, just give me 5 minutes. I'm worn out and my fingers are freezing. I've only had one coffee all morning, so, well, I say morning. It's almost the middle of the afternoon already. So I need to get this down me, and then we'll get a few more seeds planted. Time, as always, is just rushing by so quickly. It really is. It's been interesting watching this wind. Don't know if you can hear it on the cabin or not. It's coming from a different direction today. Normally it's southwesterly, or in winter it's northerly. This seems to be blowing around a lot. It seems to be coming from kind of the southeast rather than the southwest. Everything's creaking. I'm really pleased I got that pen staked down during the week. If I'd not done that, I'd have been more than a bit nervous right now that the chicken pen was going to take off. Anyway, let me get this, and then as a final bit for the video today, we'll get a bit more planted out, and it'll be time to go home. The good thing is though, I'm back tomorrow, so at some point there will be a video of some description tomorrow, as I have got lots of things to do still, and fingers crossed this time next week there'll be some chickens roaming around. My neighbour Gary popped in a short while ago and we were having a bit of a chat. I was telling him about the mummy and daddy duck, and he said he's seen them quite often on his field, and that they're actually nested in that big drainage ditch that's between our fields. Be interesting to see later in the year if I can get that pond. I keep talking about it. I need to get on doing it. If I can get that pond duck, hopefully that'll attract... Did I say pond duck? Pond dug. Hopefully that'll attract a bit more wildlife. Certainly ducks and geese. There's so much stuff. If only I had the time and the money, I'd be here full time. Anyway, I digress. I'll get this coffee down me and we'll get those seeds done before it's time to go home. Well, here we are. So I've got some carrots, some broccoli and some peas. I've snipped a few little cuttings off this lavender. We'll get that popped in and see how we get on with those. But for now, let's start off with the carrots. I don't know how well you can see on this video. We'll see, I guess, as I do the edit. Let's start off with some peas. I did water this earlier, but I'll just give it another go because it has been stood for a while and it will have dried out quite a bit. It's been stood there in the polytunnel for months actually, and looking at it you wouldn't think I'd watered it this morning, but I did. So we'll get some peas popped in there. Still bone dry this, you wouldn't think it had any water at all, but it definitely has. Yeah, really dry. It's going to want a good soaking once I've done this. It's amazing, really, because I did water it this morning and had them all the trays just sitting there ready to go, and it's really bone dry. Can you hear that wind? Some really strong gusts today. I know they said there's a storm coming, but they weren't joking. Really strong. It's very therapeutic, this. Might not be for you watching the video, but it is for me. The thought of them coming up is what I've got going on in the back of my mind. Well, that took longer than I expected, but they're in. Pop those back, waste not, want not. You're getting the damn good water in. It's a good job I'm coming tomorrow. We'll give those a bit more tomorrow. So that's peas. Got my little label so I know what I'm doing. I think we'll crack on with these carrots. This will be a bit easier. It's more of a sprinkle. I thought there was something up. They looked too big. They are too big. They're not carrots. They're broccoli. Anyway, same thing. Get some holes dug in. can't believe how this has dried out today. Mind you, it was 7:15, 7:50 when I got down here this morning. So I suppose really I shouldn't be that surprised, because that's a fair few hours ago now. There we go. These are really fiddly. Okay. That's the broccoli. Make sure I don't get them mixed up. And just firm those down. Might be tempted to put a bit more compost on this. Unbelievable how that's dried out. It really is. Okay. That's our broccoli. My little stick, so I know where it is. Now we can get on with the carrots. I will just sprinkle these, and then we'll get some more compost on. There we go. Carrots. I didn't get my coffee. goes down. Very good. The big bucket's not as dry as those little trays. Like I said, I did water everything this morning, but over the course of a few hours, it's amazing how much they have dried out. Especially those small trays, they were just ridiculously dry, too dry in fact. I'll have to soak those again before I disappear. So there we go. 2 more buckets of carrots, 27th of March, and we'll see how those fare. I've got my little trays still. I think I'll stick a couple of cuttings of that lavender in. I'm just about out of water. I've got another one of these lavender bushes at home, so I think I'll take some cuttings off that when I get home. Just take a few of these leaves off, otherwise it'll dry out too much. And we'll see how we get on with these. They are quite forgiving, lavender. So it may look like I'm massacring them, and I am, but they do tend to grow quite well from these little cuttings. I guess you'll find out over the next few weeks whether they do or they don't. Anyway, I'm going to keep pottering on with this, and I'll come back to you shortly, ready for the big tidy up, and it'll be home time. Well, there we go, that's looking a bit fuller. Marigolds and lavender in this end. Really all they're for is to try and dissuade the butterflies from attacking my plants in the raised beds. And then we've got the new broccoli and peas. I've cheated a little bit. That tray there, the middle one, this one, you'll remember that only 1 pea came out of that tray, so I've cheated. And I've refilled it with fresh seed. A couple of buckets of carrots, and then all the usual that you've seen. But these potatoes, I'm really impressed with the growth on these. They are really coming along now at a pace, especially this one. I suspect that's maybe a different variety, and that maybe accounts for why that's taken off so much. But yeah, real good progress. Very happy with everything so far. Some successes, a couple of failures, but it's all a good learning curve, and it is all good experience. And if you can manage to get yourself your own veg, you're in a much better place than having to rely on the shops. Anyway, time is flying by. I do need to get home. I'll get everything locked up. It takes me hours to do these videos when I get home, so if I don't get home now, it'll be another 2 o'clock in the morning production, and I don't really want that. I'd much rather be having a decent kip so that I can get back down here again tomorrow. Well, that's looking really nice, that chicken coop, I have to say. I'm really excited for next weekend when I actually get some chickens in there. Everything's all locked up. Polytunnel's closed. Thankfully the rain has held off. It's let me get on and get stuff done, and that paint on the feather edge board on the chicken pen should be fine. It's probably dry by now actually, but it's got plenty of time to dry out. And that's done for another day. Hopefully I'll be down tomorrow to get some more done, so I'll catch up with you in the next video.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the chicken coop looking? I just couldn't resist doing that one extra job, but if I say so myself, I think it's looking pretty good now, and it'll be really exciting next week to see some chickens running around in there. If you've got any tips on chickens, what kind to have, or any extra things you might want to do inside the pen or the coop, do let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.